Nashtaki. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah.
Yeah. Can you just tell?
So today we are going to study verse number 18 from the Isopanishads. So just a little background about, first of all, when we are studying any scriptures, we have to understand that we as material beings are prone to four kind of problems, right? We commit mistakes. We are, like we always say, we are not perfect. We are always illusioned. We have imperfect senses, and we have a tendency to get cheated or to cheat. And really, there is the only way we can achieve knowledge or get free from these imperfections is by studying of the Vedic literature or higher authorities, right? Or studying from the higher authorities. So just before we get to the verse, I wanted to really quickly recap on what Isopanishads is, right? So as probably it's been discussed on the earlier classes, it's one of the 108 Vedic scriptures of Upanishads. One of them is Isopanishad. And it's very conceptual, it's very philosophical. It has 19 mantras, which includes also the invocation. And it's very much targeted towards the impersonalist, right? And we see all throughout that's the theme in the Isopanishads. And the whole theme is to bring us closer to the understanding of the absolute truth. So that being said, I'll share my screen and we'll chant verse number 18 and the translation after that. So let me know when you can see my screen. Let me know if you can see the verse at this point.
Yes, we can see it.
I'll chant the verse and then we'll go to the synonyms and the translation. Agnena naya supataray ashman vishvani deva yayu nani vidvan yuyodhya asmaj jurur ranam ino gushantam tinama uttim vidhemima. So the synonyms are Agneya, O Lord, O my Lord, as powerful as fire. Naya, kindly lead. Supata, by the right path. Rai, for reaching you. Asman, us. Vishvani, all. Deva, O my Lord. Bayu Nani, actions. Vidvan, the knower. Yuyodhi, kindly remove. Asmat, from us. Juhurnam, all endurance on the path. Ina, all vices. Bhushitam, most numerous. Te, onto you. Namaha Uktim, words of obeisances. Vidhima, I do. Translation by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. O my Lord, as powerful as fire, O omnipotent one, now I offer you all obeisances. Falling on the ground at your feet, O my Lord, please lead me on the right path to reach you. And since you know all that I've done in the past, please free me from the reactions of my past sins so that there will be no hindrance to my progress. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So what we'll do is I'll read one paragraph, we'll talk about it, and then this is a long purport, and as we go along towards the, once we wrap this up, I want to talk about summarizing all of the 18 verses and sharing some of the realizations. So if there is a volunteer to read the verse, I'm open to that. Otherwise, I can read every verse.
I can read. By surrendering to Lord and praying for his causeless mercy, the devotee can progress on the path of complete self-realization. The Lord is addressed as a fire because he can burn anything into ashes, including the sins of surrendered soul. As described in a previous mantras, the real or ultimate aspect of the Absolute is his feature as the personality of Godhead, and his impersonal Brahma Jyoti feature is a dazzling covering over the face. Fruitive activities or the Karma Kanda path of self-realization is the lowest stage in this endeavor. As soon as such activities even slightly deviate from the regulative principle of Vedas, they are transformed into vikarma or acts against the interests of the actor. Such a vikarma is enacted by the illusion living entity simply for a sense of gratification, and thus such activities become hindrance on the path of self-realization. Hare Krishna.
Like what Prabhupada is mentioning here, even a slight deviation from that path, can lead it to vikarma. So really the first story that comes to my mind is a story of Maharaj Naga, NRGA, Naga, right? So what he was doing was he was extremely pious king, and he used to give away cows in donation. And one day what happened is he donated cow to a Brahmana, and the cow again wandered back and came into his the place where he was all of his cows were, right? And then what happened is the next day he donated the same cow to another Brahmin. And what happened is then when both of the Brahmins found out that they have the same cow, they came to him. Now the king knew the sin of doing such an act, so which was and so he started asking the Brahmanas, can he be forgiven, and can he give them 1,000, I think it was 1 million cows to each of them. But they both were very adamant, the both Brahmanas, and they said, no, we want the same cow. So because they said that, they were very offended and they left. Of course, after some days, when this king died, basically when he went back, when there was, I guess, a decision making of what is next for him. Basically, he'd done so many pious activities that he would enjoy the pious activities for many, many births, for many, many years, right? But he said, I want to suffer the sins. And as soon as he said that, he became a lizard and he went into a well. And like we all know, even if he was there, he was remembering Krishna. So the time span of the sin was reduced, and then Krishna came and pulled him out. So the point that we're trying to make here is, like, when we try to follow some kind of pious activities, even a slight deviation can really lead us. The other example that comes to my mind is Ajamil. And what happened with Ajamil, he was following everything very nicely, but then he started little bit deviated from his path, and then he got addicted to prostitute. He had children from her. He threw his parents and his wife out of the house, right? And as a result of that, what happened is that he fell down. But again, because of his some kind of good activities or good karma, he had named his son, the youngest son, as Narayan. And then when he called out to Narayan, the real Narayan came to save him. So, we see in the past that a little bit deviation can lead to vikarma and to disaster. So that's what Prabhupada is trying to say over here. So we can go to the next paragraph. Anybody else wants to read this paragraph? Any volunteers?
Hare Krishna Mataji, I would like to read Mataji.
Sure, Suman Mataji, go ahead.
Hare Krishna, Dandat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Purport given by A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Self-realization is possible in the human form of life, but not in other forms. There are 8.4 8 lakhs, no? 8 lakhs. 84 lakhs. 84 lakhs species or forms of life, of which the human form qualified by Brahmical culture presents the only chance to obtain knowledge of transcendence. Brahminical culture includes truthfulness, self-control, forbearance, simplicity, full knowledge, and full faith in God. It is not that one simply become proud of his high percentage, just as being born. Parentage. Sorry, I'm sorry. It is not that one simply becomes proud of his high parentage. Just as being born the son of a big man affords one chance to become a big man, so being born the son of a Brahmana gives one a chance to become a Brahmana. But just birthright is not everything, for one still has to attain the Brahminical qualifications for himself. As soon as one becomes proud of his birth as the son of a Brahman and neglects to acquire the qualification of a real Brahman, he at once becomes degraded and falls from the path of self realization. Thus, his life's mission as a human being is defeated. Hare Krishna.
What Prabhupada is telling here is about all of the 8.4 million species of life, right, that our soul is traveling through. And he's saying human birth is so rare, so precious. Because even if we saw in the story of Bharat Maharaj, he became a deer, but even as a deer, he could not go back, right? He had to take another birth as Jad Bharat. And we see like birds are singing, there are so many animals who are there, but they come to the temple sometimes because of their last life Sukriti, and they are staying there. But this self-realization or chanting, it's a privilege given to only humans. So it is a vehicle given to us, and we're so fortunate that we're connected to ISKCON, we're connected to Srila Prabhupada, to spiritual mission, a board that can carry us over this Bhav Sagar, that we should not take it lightly, right? It's extremely important that we have been given this opportunity, very, very rare opportunity after so many births. Like we were here in Satyuga, in Dwapar, Treta, and now Kali Yuga. And Kali Yuga is advancing so fast, but still we are here, right? So that means we have wasted a lot of time, but I think it's about time that we take it very seriously, because the life is so precious. Like after 8.4 million species of life, we've got this life. The other thing Prabhupada is telling here is it's not the parentage, right? Like just like a son of a lawyer is not a lawyer, or a son of a doctor is not a doctor. They have to qualify, right? They have to get that degree. They have to get that understanding. So traditionally in Indian culture, what used to happen, like a Brahmana son used to be Brahmana, a Shudra son used to be Shudra. And basically what had happened was they were ill-treating all of the, Shudras and whatnot. But we have to understand that all of these species, all of these varnas, all of these divisions of society are very much required, right? So Brahmana was the head of the society, a Vaishya is compared to the belly of the society. So what does belly do? It digests, right? And it moves forward. So they are, they used to do trading, farmers, whatnot. The hands were compared to a Kshatriya, right? Because he was protecting the society. And the Shudras were compared to feet. Without feet, you cannot go anywhere. So if you were a farmer, you would engage a Shudra to help you out. If you were a Kshatriya, you would engage the Shudras in some form to help you out, right? So all of the society, all of the parts of the society, just as all the parts of our body are important, all of the parts are important. So one should not feel proud that, hey, I'm born to a Brahmana, so I'm a Brahmana. No, you're not. If you don't have the qualities of a Brahmana, you're not a Brahmana. So according to Prabhupada, it's not according to parentage, it's according to your qualities of what you develop. So that's what Prabhupada is saying here. Like if you're a Brahmana and if you're eating meat, like, I know a few really good Gujaratis that I know, they eat meat, even if Krishna was living there and they're from a Brahmana families, there's no way they're qualified as Brahmanas. So it's all according to your qualities. So that being said, we'll go to third paragraph. Is there anyone can read paragraph number 3? Or the same to Mataji's, you can volunteer, whoever can.
In Bhagavad Gita 6.41 and 42, we are assured by the Lord that yoga brashta, or souls fallen from the path of self-realization, are given a chance to rectify themselves by taking a birth either in the families of a good Brahmans or in the families of a rich merchants. Such a birth affords higher chance of self-realization. If these chances are misused due to illusion, one loses a good opportunity of human life afforded by the Almighty Lord. You want me to go ahead and continue?
Let's just study this word, this chapter.
Okay.
This word is. So, I just clicked on 6.41, so 6.41, what the translation says is the unsuccessful yogi, after many, many years of enjoyment on the planets of the pious living entities, is born into a family of righteous people or into a family of rich aristocracy, right? And this verse actually, what this verse is related to what Krishna says in chapter number 2, Neha Vikrama Nashosti Pratyavaya na Vidyate, right? That verse where there is no loss or diminution, right? So if you do a little bit in this life, you can, if you start at 4%, like if you did 5%, you're going to start at percentage number 6, right? In the next life. There is no loss or diminution. And what Krishna is saying here is, like, whatever you do, like suppose if you've done really, really good bhakti and whatever but you have not developed devotion to Krishna, you can go to heavenly planets, you can enjoy there, and you can come down to earth to be born in a rich family or in an aristocratic family. Now, most of us over here were born in like, a well-to-do family, and we've seen throughout our lives that we had this opportunity to worship God. When I was a small child, my mom used to take me to Mangalarti. My grandma used to take me to Mangalarti, right? It was called, it's called a different name in Maharashtra, but she used to take me there. She taught me how to worship Krishna. I was born in a town very close to Pandharpur, actually in the neighborhood of Pandharpur, right? Half an hour from Pandharpur. So what Krishna, and you see other devotees who are like Prabhupada, born in a very pious family. You see his Guru Maharaj, born in a very pious family. And you see a lot of devotees, or like, even if you see Krishna conscious kids, they're born in a family where they wake up by Shankha, they have so much knowledge of Krishna at such a young age. So there is definitely some kind of a past pious activity that they did, and that's why they were born in a good family. And what Krishna is saying here is, you either, if you don't finish, there is no loss or diminution. You're going to be born in a either good rich family where you can continue, or you're going to be born in an aristocratic family, or in a family of Brahmanas where you can further take this, right? So, and also we have been warned that if you lose this good opportunity, like, don't use this, don't misuse this opportunity, otherwise you're going to lose it. So that's what has been explained in this verse. So we'll go to next paragraph. Anybody else can read this paragraph? Any volunteers?
I can read.
Yeah, Sarvani Mataji, thank you.
Hare Krishna. So the regulative principles are such that one will follows them in promoted from the platform of fruitive activities to the platform of transcendental knowledge. After many lifetimes of cultivating transcendental knowledge, one becomes perfect when he surrenders unto the Lord. This is a general procedure, but one who surrenders at very beginning, as recommended in this mantra, at one surpasses all preliminary stages simply by adopting the devotional attitude. As stated in Bhagavad Gita 18.66, the Lord at once takes charge of such a surrendered soul and frees him from all the reactions to his sinful acts. There are many sinful reactions involved in karma kanda activities, whereas in Janana kanda, the path of what is that?
Jnana Kanda.
Jnana kanda, okay. Jnana kanda, the path of philosophical development, the number of such sinful activities is smaller. But in devotional service to the Lord, the path of bhakti, there is practically no chance of incurring sinful reactions. Because a devotee of the Lord attains all good qualities of Lord himself, what to speak of those of Brahmana? A devotee automatically attains the qualifications of expert Brahmana, authorized to perform sacrifices, even though the devotee may not have taken his birth in Brahmana family. Such is the omnipotence of the Lord. He can make a man born in Brahmana family as degraded as a low-born dog-eater. And he can also make a low-born dog-eater superior to a qualified Brahmana simply on the strength of devotional services. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Sarvani Mataji. So, again, what's explained here is like, you could be a barber, you could be any profession, but you take to devotional service and you become a Brahmana. Like, I was born in a Kshatriya family, and, by following something, you can become a Brahmana. Same thing in on this forum or anywhere in Krishna conscious. If you see all of the white devotees, they didn't even have any caste or whatever, but they basically followed devotional service, developed Brahmanical qualities, and became Brahmana. So that is the right way to become Brahmana, right? Developing that devotional service to Krishna. And the other thing Krishna is saying is over here, if you see what Prabhupada is saying is, if you do karma khanda activities, and we were talking about earlier, right? You could make small mistake, even if your intentions were right, and you could make, basically what he's saying is there are many sinful reactions involved in karma khanda activities, right? You might intend well, but you might invite people for prasadam, but somebody might get offended. And we have so many stories in the Shastra about that. And you might incur some sins. Whereas in Jnanakanda, the path of philosophical development, he's saying the sinful activities are smaller. And when you do devotional service or bhakti, there is no chance. There is no chance. There is zero chance of you incurring any sinful reactions. And I was just quickly going to read 18.66, which Prabhupada is mentioning here, just the translation. He's saying, abandon all varieties of religion and just surrender unto me. I shall deliver you from all sinful reactions. Do not fear. So the famous verse that Krishna says, Sarva dharmana parityajya mam ekvan sharanam vraja. Aham tvam sarva papebhyo mokshamimam masucha. So Krishna is saying that just surrender everything and surrender, leave up all of your religion, surrender unto me, and I will deliver you from all sinful reactions. And Krishna is giving you that guarantee. So out of all of the yogas, if you follow bhakti yoga, you are at a minimum risk. It's basically like taking an elevator, right? Like you can, if I want to go from here to New York City, I can go in so many different routes. But if I know there is NJ Turnpike that will take me straight there, or if I know there is, an express train that will take me straight there, or if I have a helicopter that I can go very fast with, you will take that versus trying to walk, trying to bike, or trying to take some difficult road. So, or if you want to go to a 20th floor, then you can always take an elevator, but which is bhakti yoga, right? Which will take you directly to the destination versus doing karma kanda, doing jnana kanda, doing all of these different things. And we have time is less, right? Already 10,000 years of Kali Yuga are gone. We are here into this golden age where Krishna consciousness we're in the first 10,000 years of Kali Yuga, where Krishna consciousness is spreading. So why not take advantage of this elevator or a direct train that will take us to our destination? So that's what is mentioned in this verse. So we'll go to the next verse. Any volunteers for this one?
Can I read again?
Sure, Suman Mataji, go ahead.
Since the omnipotent Lord is situated within the heart of everyone, he can give directions to his sincere devotees by which they can attain the right path. Such directions are specially offered to the devotee, even if he desires something else. As far as others are concerned, God gives sanction to the doer only at the risk of the doer. But in the case of a devotee, the Lord directs him in such a way that he never acts wrongly. The Srimad Bhagavatam 11.5.42 says, Swapada Mulam Bhajata Priyasya Tyaktan Tanya Bhavasya Harih Pareshah Vikarma Yak Kot Pati Tam Kathan Chit Dhunoti Sarvam Hridi Sani Vishta. The Lord is so kind to the devotee who is fully surrendered to his lotus feet that even though the devotee sometimes falls into the entanglement of vikarma, acts against the Vedic directions, the Lord at once rectifies such mistakes from within his heart. This is because the devotees are very dear to the Lord.
Yeah.
Hare
Thank you
Krishna.
so much. Thank you so much. So it's such an important point Krishna says here, right? So I was talking about the elevator or the boat or the train. So this train is going. But if you decide to lead the train, if you decide to, okay, I'm going to jump out of this boat, right, and voluntarily get into some kind of a karmic entanglement or something away from Krishna. If you're a very dear Lord, very dear to the Lord, he will himself within the heart will tell you, no, don't do this, it will not, it's not good for your spiritual life. Like, or maybe don't associate with these people, or maybe don't take this job, or maybe don't move to this location, whatever it is, right? Like Krishna will guide you from inside to tell you that, he'll bring you back. And you will also in your spiritual life experience that so many times you might try to do, you might do something and Krishna will redirect you back, right? Like, if your child is going in wrong direction, you'll say, no, come back. We have to be on the sidewalk. Don't go on the main road, right? Otherwise you'll get hit. So Krishna will help you. There's also this, there was a servant of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu who left and he went away. So, but the Lord brought him back, right? By himself. So, so many times you will see that Krishna will hold your hand and he'll bring you back. So that's what this verse is saying. And now I think we have three more paragraphs to go. So we will go to the next one. Any volunteers for this one?
Nobody wants, I can read it.
You can, Mataji, go ahead.
In this mantra, Sri Isopanishad, devotee prays the Lord to rectify him from within his heart. The error is a human. A conditioned soul is very often apt to commit mistakes, and the only remedial measure to take against such a unintentional sins is to give oneself up to the lotus feet of the Lord, so that he may guide one to avoid such a pitfalls. The Lord takes charge of fully surrendered souls. Thus, all problems are solved simply by surrendering oneself unto the Lord and acting in terms of his direction. Such directions are given to the sincere devotee in two ways. One is by way of the saints, scripture, and spiritual master. And the other is by way of Lord himself, who resides within the heart of everyone. Thus, the devotee, fully enlightened with the Vedic knowledge, is protected in all aspects. Haribol.
So we always say, right, like sometimes you're at a cross junction of your life, you don't know what to do. So we say follow Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra, right? So follow what like Shastra is saying, what your Guru is saying, and what a Sadhu is saying, what a saint is saying, right? Like those are the three check marks you can have, or the Krishna within your heart will direct you. And it's very much like it's telling, oh, we're going to commit mistakes. We're not perfect. We are going to be on this path, but Krishna always is protecting us from all of these pitfalls. All right, so let's keep going. The Vedic knowledge. Somebody else can read.
I can read.
Yeah, go on, Mataji.
Vedic knowledge is transcendental and cannot be understood by mundane educational procedures. One can understand the Vedic mantras only by the grace of the Lord and the spiritual master. Yasya deve para bhakti yatha deve tatha gurau.
Go.
If one, what is that?
Gurau, like, yeah, you're right.
Gurau. If one takes shelter of a bona fide spiritual master, it is to be understood that he has obtained the grace of the Lord. The Lord appears as the spiritual master for the devotee. Thus, the spiritual master, the Vedic injunctions, and the Lord himself from within all guide the devotee in full strength. In this way, there is no chance for a devotee to fall again into the mire of material illusion. The devotee, thus protected all around, is sure to reach the ultimate destination of perfection. The entire process is hinted at in this mantra and Srimad Bhagavatam 1.2.17 to 20 explains it further.
Yeah, thank you, Mataji. So again, what has been explained here is that, once we get a spiritual master, right, like we're very fortunate. So always try to have that consultation. And sometimes, like we see in ISKCON that, some spiritual masters have thousands and thousands of disciples, and it is very hard to get that one-on-one connection. But I've always said that you have to always confide in some devotees, some senior devotees that you trust, right? Because that story I always tell, which I love, which Nitai Sivini Mataji says, is about a fox, right? There is a person who basically is out in the forest, and he's hunting. And the forest officer is going to come, and he takes the fox, and he's a big man, right? So he takes the fox and puts it inside his jacket just to hide it from the forest officer. But the fox inside is eating him up. And he eats him up to such an extent, and he's not making any noise because the forest officer is going to catch him. And when the forest officer goes, he dies, right? So many times we have so many questions, and so much is going out internally within us, but we hide it from the whole world. We want to show everything is fine. So let's not do that. Let's try to get the counseling. Let's try to get direction from senior devotees. Let's confide in them, and we get on the right path, because it all starts inside, right? And then we start acting. It all starts in the brain, in your mind, and then you start acting. So it's very important to have that guide, any devotee, a senior devotee that you can trust in. You can get mentorship, guidance from them. We do that in our career life or in the spiritual life. So we should be, doing it in our spiritual life as well. So that being said, I think we're at the last verse, last paragraph. Anybody else would like to volunteer?
Hare Krishna. So, yeah, last paragraph, Mataji.
Thank you.
Yeah, hearing and chanting the glories of Lord is itself an act of pity. The Lord wants, the Lord wants everyone to hear and chant his glories, because he is a well-wisher of all living entities. By hearing and chanting the glories of the Lord, one becomes cleansed of all undesirable things, and then once devotion becomes fixed upon the Lord. At this stage, the devotee acquires the Brahmanical qualifications, and the effects of the lower modes of the nature, passion and ignorance, completely vanish. The devotee becomes fully enlightened by virtue of his devotional service, and he comes to know the path of Lord and the way to attain him. As all doubts diminish, he becomes a pure devotee.
Thank you, Prabhuji. So, in this, again, the importance of hearing and chanting is stressed, right? So there are various ways we can do devotional service: Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, Padasevanam, Archanam, Agyam. So there are so many ways, right? But the easiest that you can do is hear and chant. Like, you can wake up in the morning, hold a beat back and chant, because chanting purifies, right? It is said that your sins slowly start diminishing, right? And the love for Krishna starts awakening. It's like you have a mirror, and the mirror, you throw a mirror somewhere, right? And you go away. And the mirror has accumulated so much dust over the years that we don't even know what identity is. So as you're going to chant, you're going to start cleaning the mirror slowly by slowly. And one day in that mirror, you can see the reflection of who you are, right? And when you chant, you can do Shravanam Kirtanam also. Like, you can hear, right? You're chanting, and the whole point about chanting is that you hear, right? You're chanting at a volume that you can hear, and you can basically hear what you're chanting. And you can listen when you're in the car. You can listen to some lectures when you're in your car. And as you start slowly, Shravanam Kirtanam. And why Shravanam is so important? Like, see, when you're sleeping, you could do anything. You could turn on a light, or you could do something. Yeah, you might get disturbed, but you will still be sleeping, right? Our consciousness is sleeping. We're in that mode. But once you start, somebody starts, hey, Mataji, Niru Mataji, or whoever, wake up, you will wake up immediately. Why? Because you hear, our ears are open. That's why we put an alarm or whatever, right? Because we can hear that, and it enters you. And that's how chanting is so important. Even like when Brahma was there, the first thing he heard was tapa, and he did tapa. So that's why hearing and chanting, it's easiest. You can be done anywhere. And if you start doing that, then you start developing that devotional service to Krishna, and you get fixed upon him. So we have read the purport. What I actually was going to review was, there is this way, there's a study that this is Urmila Mataji Actually, she stayed with us in 2014 when she visited ICNJ. I feel so fortunate. So I got a study guide from her online, and I was thinking we can review some of these points so that we get a good grasp and understanding of, what the entire Upanishad was and what we did. So, this is a very good view. I think, can everyone see this? It's kind of a cylindrical view on the screen right now.
Yes, Mataji.
Yes, yes.
Perfect,
Yes,
perfect.
Mataji.
So this again, it's actually on internet. Anybody can reach out. You can just say Isopanishad study guide, and you will have this access to it. Urmila Mataji is one of a senior devotee of ISKCON. So I'm just taking it from there. So basically, she divides it into very nice way about how issue, we have 18 verses, right? We're studying 18 verse. How it is divided into 3 sections, right? The first, you have the invocation, which is the foundational knowledge. And then it goes into the practice of, the living entities, so from verse 1 to 8 is all of the vision of the Isopanishads. And then from 9 to 14, there's a guidelines for knowledge and practice. And the last 2, like from 15 to 18, it's about prayers. So yes, we studied about the prayers for knowledge and now the prayers for the practice. So, and the key phrase, what she's mentioning here is spiritual knowledge is beyond our reach. Therefore, the Vedas are there to teach. So like we discussed earlier, right? Like we have all of those 4 limitations that we have. We are imperfect, we are illusion, we can be cheated, and we have so many drawbacks in us that we cannot understand the knowledge. And that's why Vedas are there to help us. So it's very important to understand this concept. There was one important concept I think we all should be understanding and well aware of. And this was the 3 aspects of the absolute truth, right? So the first aspect is Brahman, right? And then Paramatma and Bhagwan. And, you can compare this to a sun. So the actual sun that you have, the sun that you see in the sky, right? So a Brahman would be any of that, the sun rays that reach you, right? It is that effulgence of the Lord, the aura of the Lord, or the energy of the Lord, that is not energy, but that impersonal form. Like, sometimes people say God doesn't have a form. So that is one aspect of God. The Paramatma, the localized aspect. So we say, there is Krishna in everyone's heart. So it's that Krishna. And that who's residing in your heart. And in terms of sun, it is that planet sun, right? Where the rays are coming from. But if you go closer to the sun planet, and if we have that kind of body, like a sun body or whatever, if we go closer, we'll see the sun god sitting there, right? And that's the Bhagwan aspect of the god. So it's very important to understand all of these 3 aspects. After we finish Upanishad, we should be very clear that God has these 3 forms, like the Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagwan. And why we are worshipping the Bhagwan aspect, right? And that's one of the, I want to say, messages that we have in this verse is Krishna takes special care of the Bhagwan, of the devotees who are worshipping in that devotional service, right? Just like if you have a child, if you have your own child, you're going to give him hot rotis, you're going to give them, something like a hot rice and dal. So that's how Krishna takes special care of his devotees, even if he's equal to everyone. He's in heart of everyone. Like, how you are kind to every child. Maybe, there are children in your kid's school. You're kind to everybody. Or you go to somewhere and there are beggars. You're going to also help them, right? You're going to help everybody. But instead of being that Kripa Patra, we are eligible to become that, Prema Patra, right? Like that love is developed for Krishna. So Krishna takes special care of you when you engage in that, when you understand the Bhagwan aspect of Lord and you start worshipping him in the Bhagwan aspect. So that is an important concept. And then I thought this was very important. Like, there are 3 types of devotees, right? And let's just dive into this for a little bit. So the first one was a neophyte devotee, or a Kanishta devotee, or the devotee who's just started to enter into the process. And this person, and you know what, I don't have the picture here, but basically you can imagine 2 devotees who are fighting with their arms, and you have Krishna picture in the background, right? So they don't recognize the spiritual relationship of others with the Lord and prone to fighting. And this is such an important concept, right? Like we are Vasudeva Kutumba, right? What does that mean? That we're all children of God. There is nobody who is good in this life, nobody who is bad in the life. Nobody is your friend and nobody is your enemy. Apna waqt bura hota hai. When your time is bad, even the good people will behave bad with you. And apna time acha hota hai na, the bad people also will behave good with you. So just understand that, like, if anybody ever behaves bad with you, it is because of your past karma. And Jiva Goswami also says that the person is not bad. Like, you can go and talk to other people, right? That person will be so good to other people. But that person at that point is behaving bad to you because of your bad karma. You have to have this concept. And when you have this concept, you will understand that, you'll develop love for everybody. It's not that this person is bad or something. Or maybe this person is having a bad day. Maybe they had a terrible day at work. That's why they're behaving to you. So you'll stop taking things personally. You'll start relating it to Krishna, right? Like, for example, I like this example. Again, Nitai Sevani Mataji always gives this example. Like, say you're in love with somebody, right? And you're having very nice time with this person. But then when you decide to get married to this person, then you know that you have to accept his whole family. You're not just getting married to this one person. You're getting married to maybe his mom, is sick. You're getting married to his sick mom. Maybe you're getting married to his sister who is always taunting. Maybe there is, his other relatives who are always interfering. You are forming a relationship to everybody. So tomorrow, if you die and you're going to go back to Krishna, these people in the temple that you're interacting with, these devotees that you're serving with, they're going to be with you right there. So you have to make sure that these are all children of Krishna. They are related to Krishna, and you have to develop good relation with them. Then only you can marry him. Otherwise, you can just have like, oh, I go to temple and this is my concept about God and I'm good with that, right? You can just not go into that big time commitment with God. But once we commit to God, once we decide, no, Krishna is the goal of my life, this is where I want to go, then we have to be good to all of his devotees because they love him. It's not and for us to even have that vertical relationship with Krishna, we have to have that good horizontal relationship with everybody. Because if we don't have devotee, we should figure out, like, if we don't like a devotee, what's that trigger? What is in that devotee that triggers me? What is that I don't like about that devotee? And that is something that is your trigger. It's your problem. It's not the problem of that devotee. So we have to always recognize that, right? Like, and to go to the next level. Otherwise, we can stay in the neophyte and the Kanishta way, that, not understanding relationship of Krishna. Oh, my relationship is only with Krishna. But it doesn't work like that. We have to have relationship with everybody. I just want to make sure I'm still online. Everyone's there, right? When I'm sharing, I can see.
Yes, Mataji.
Perfect. Thank you, Prabhuji. So that is a neophyte or a Kanishta stage, right? And then the second class is a Madhyama. And here we have a picture of a devotee showing a book to a person, while in the background, another book distributor is walking away from an angry person, right? So he worships the Lord, associates with devotees, and enlightens the innocent and avoids the envious. So this devotee understands that, okay, I want to associate with like-minded people. I have to avoid bad association. I have to make sure that, I do something good. I spread the movement. Like, Prabhupada said, when you are cooking, you're cooking for me. When you're cleaning the temple, you're cleaning the temple for me. So you're serving the Lord in some way. You've moved away from the point of being offended, of taking anything personally. You've started to understand that everybody belongs to Krishna and I have to have loving relationship with everybody. So, that's the second class devotee. And then a pure or Uttama devotee. Here is a picture of devotee with arms raised, calling, chant Hare Krishna, while others around are also dancing, right? And he sees everyone as a spiritual servant of the Lord and thus engages everyone in Lord's service. So by the time you come to a pure devotee's point, you understand that, Lord is in everybody's heart, like, and everybody's a servant of Lord. So you treat everybody so nicely, like your spiritual life is dependent on your relationship with this person. Like, in family, if you have one problem with some relative, right, some uncle, it could be your husband, some relative, it's going to kind of spread across in your family. So you handle every relationship so well, so nicely, that you're not having those issues, right? You're understanding them in the context of Krishna, and you're purely engaged. You're understanding these are all our devotees of Krishna, and I need to treat them so even better than Krishna. That's how you will maintain relationships and you will develop relationship. So I thought this was a very good concept for us to understand. And then there were I was hoping if we can summarize before we take questions, so we have a good understanding of what we studied so far and what was the key verse in all of the all of the 18 verses we studied. So like we said, the first section was about the mantra 1, 2, and 3. One of the key messages here that's given here is, our quota is given to serve the Lord, and our future is black if we simply hoard, right? Like if we, whatever we get, my dad's grandma used to say this, and he told us very young in our life that whatever we earn is not ours only, right? A lot of people have a share in that. So even if you think for us to come to the stage where we are in life, so many people have contributed. Your parents have contributed, your teachers have contributed, your neighbors have contributed, your relatives have contributed, so many people, right, who have contributed, and in the future they'll contribute. So we have to understand that whatever I have is just not mine. I have a 4-year-old daughter, and she was listening to this Elmo thing, and it was about sharing, saving, and spending, right? They were talking about how there are 3 buckets, and we put something in all of the buckets. So in the same way, we have to understand that we have to share. Whatever we earn, it's not ours only. We keep what we need, and then we share, we give in charity and whatnot. And if we don't do that, then there are a lot of consequences. And we can go into stories and stories about this in Shastra, how just by hoarding, but just by not sharing, how it doesn't help you in the future. So I thought this was a good concept. And then we will go to the next one, which is verses 4 to 5. Yeah, and so in this, the next set of verses, what the key phrase is: inconceivable Lord may be far or near, but he is revealed to those who are dear. And this was in line with what I was explaining earlier. Like, if you are how you will be a parent takes good care of their own children more, then they will take care of everybody else. It's the same story. Like, you cannot fake it. You cannot fake it to get Krishna's attention. But when you give that pure love to Krishna, Krishna reciprocates, and he protects you and he saves you. And there will be times when you don't even call to Krishna, but Krishna will come. Krishna will come and he'll save you, and Krishna will be there and he'll reveal you to you. In my personal experience, I wanted to share is that, recently I had an accident, and it was a very bad accident. And, I was so much shaken in that accident that my car was totaled and everything. And I basically was not even thinking about Krishna, because I was just thinking somebody come and save me. And I was thinking maybe my husband or my daughter, somebody will come and take me from here. And, as soon as my accident happened, there was a witness who stood right next to me, like in 3 minutes, in 3 seconds. By the time I could understand what's happening, she was standing next to me. She hugged me. She said, by the time the ambulance come, I'm not going to go anywhere, take pictures, do this, do that. So she kind of guided me completely until I sat in the ambulance and went. And I was just thinking, this doesn't, like, nobody just comes from thin air, right? Like, Krishna arranged for that person to be there for me, and without even calling him. And you will see that so much in your life also, that when Krishna, and I'm saying this out of utter humility, right? I think Krishna has interacted so much with so many other devotees, is if you basically, even in the time of trouble, if Krishna does, if you don't remember, God will remember and God will come. And the next day I was crying, not because thinking about, oh, my car, or I got, my hand is damaged and my neck is cervical injury. I was not crying for that. I was just thinking how much Krishna loves and takes care of you. That, and my karma is so bad. Of course, the case, the report went against me. My karma is so bad. But at that moment, I needed somebody to come and guide me, and somebody was there. And the only thing I understand this is that, it was Krishna's mercy that somebody was there right next to me in like that 3 seconds and guiding me through that phase where I was clueless, because I never had an accident. My records are so clean. I didn't even know what to do in that point, right? And it was such a massive thing. I was shaken, and how Krishna guided. So really that touched my soul so much that, I think as you, when you realize that how Krishna takes care of you and how he cares for you, it really touches your heart and soul. And that's what Krishna is saying here. It's, he's revealed to who are dear to him. So we'll move on to the next set of verses. Okay. And I thought now this was a very important concept, right? Like, as we, the key phase here is, without knowledge of spiritual life, our material plans lead us to strife. Strife is dissatisfaction and anything, right? So as you gain material knowledge, it's very important to get spiritual knowledge. And as you get spiritual knowledge, it's very important to get material knowledge, because without material knowledge, you won't be able to navigate, right? And without spiritual knowledge, you will not have the peace of mind. You will not be able to connect things. You will not be able to understand, what is what. So that's why it's very important to water both of them. So that was this verse, and then we'll move on to our next verse. Yeah, and this is the verses right before the first 15 and 16, where the devotee is praying, that the devotee is saying, we cannot see beyond your glow, but it is you we wish to know. And he's saying, please take this glow away so I can see you. And even in Bhagavad Gita, we see that Krishna is playing to Krishna, and he's saying, he sees the Virat Rupa, and he's like, Krishna, I don't know what to do with this Rupa. I just want to see you in that two-handed form. So he actually asked, request Krishna to get that form, right? So that was the verse. The prayers basically start here, and which conclude with our final verse, which is here, where yesterday's verse, when Sameshwar was explaining, it was like he was saying, okay, God, I've done all of this for you, please accept this. And in our verse now, it's basically we are pleading to Krishna to please guide us. So the key phase is saying, Lord, for the spiritual life, on you I depend, to always be there as a guide and a friend. Krishna is our most dear friend, and he is always there to guide us. Like, please, we are praying actually to Krishna to please be there and to guide us. So that's all I wanted to share for today. And actually, while we go on, right, I was hoping that we can Mataji over here, Urmila Mataji, has given very nice like after we read, what our focus should be, what we consider and what we describe. And I was hoping that, you guys can unmute and share one of your realizations. So basically we read the mantra, and, if you guys can focus on how the Lord is assisting and guiding us in our service to him, we can pray for the Lord to continue to guide and protect us on the path of spiritual life, as in the mantra, right? And she also wants us to consider, observe, right? Really reflect back how the Lord has reciprocated with our attempts to know and serve him by revealing the nature of spiritual life and engaging us in hearing, glorifying, and remembering him. How he has removed obstacles and doubts from our path to serving him. And then, she basically wants us to describe how the Lord reciprocated with your attempts to serve him. How can we continue to increase our desire to know and serve him? And, I think I can start this conversation by sharing one of my personal experiences. So when I came to Krishna consciousness when I was in college, and, I was so much attracted towards all this movement. I was like, oh, I should basically, take on this path, get married into some of the devotee family and do this. But then what Krishna did is, when I married and I came, he converted my husband and made him a devotee. Right. So that, to the point of Krishna removes the doubts and obstacles on a path of serving him. So that's how Krishna helps us. If you show Krishna that you're very sincere, Krishna, I want to do this. If you have any obstacles or doubts, they will be removed. And you will see, a lot of people will come and share this experience that, oh, I wanted to do this and I got transferred, or I got moved to a place where the temple is so close to me, or they will have, once you show Krishna that you're sincere and that you want to serve him, you want to continue in this path and progress in this path, he will remove your obstacles and doubts. So that being said, I would like any of you to unmute yourself and to share any of the reciprocation that Krishna has done for you, in removing the doubts or obstacles, or helping you in this path of devotional service. And then we can open up to questions. Maybe we can take one or two realizations and open up for questions.
Hare Krishna Gokulpriya Mataji, wonderful class. I really like how you explain with the small examples, like day-to-day life and from Shastra. Really, it was very sweet. I really enjoyed the class and understood the Upanishad also, like what you are trying to take. And my realization you were asking, so same thing, maybe in different family has different problems. Like sometimes Mataji is more inclined to Krishna consciousness, and then she tries to make her husband, and
Sometimes Prabhuji is more inclined, and Mataji becomes automatically, because husband is serving means Mataji goes, but it is really difficult to make husband devotee, right? But by grace of our Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, it's really when we pray to him and our Guru Maharaj, and it really works for us. In my case, like 5 years back, I was just thinking, and my Prabhuji was not chanting at all. And then when I talk with Madhupati Prabhuji, please mere Prabhuji ko bolo na rounds karo karke. then he started chanting, and then I wanted him to chant 16 rounds. And then I again talk with Madhupati Prabhuji, please ask him to do 16 rounds. Then he said, Prabhuji ko kaam rehta hai, you don't force like this. But it worked, and then everyone, my kids, they wanted me to take initiation. Even other devotees from our congregation, they were also asking. And then I was just praying to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj, if you want to make me a devotee and my family to serve this temple, just you can do miracle. And you do, I don't know, within 15 days, like my Prabhuji came to me and he said, let's study for initiation. And we studied, and we passed the exam, and it just happened. So I always feel like Guru Maharaj mercy, Srila Prabhupada mercy, and congregation, the association, what we got here in our NJ, ICNJ. So it really works, but it is our desire also. It's not like a lot of Mataji, Govindanandi Mataji also, she asked, she talks in Marathi and she said, मी माझ्या प्रभुजीला नाही change करू शकले like this. So I say it's our desire, and maybe previous karma also, right? Maybe he has something pious activities in his karma, so that his mind also came and okay. Because I kept conditioned, I will not take initiation alone. I want you, because I can serve if he is also initiated. And it really worked because of this association, our Guru Maharaj and Srila Prabhupada. Just wanted to share this, Mataji.
Thank you for sharing that, Mataji. And one thing what I have realized, Mataji, our focus should not be to make our husband or kids devotees, because our focus should be us. And we should, what I have helped me to realize is that thinking of them as a blessing, who are helping you on the path of devotional service. You know what I mean? Like you mentioned that if your husband is a devotee, your life becomes easier, right? So they are, sometimes when you're like, my daughter is studying somewhere far or something like that, you want to, somebody is there to help them out. So so if Krishna is helping us out, these are our helpers that Krishna has sent us, right? So we are, the focus of us should be us, that I want to chant. Like maybe these people have done so much devotion, like sometimes I feel in the past life that they don't need to do so much in this life, and maybe they've already done it, and they just have, maybe sometime in the life, maybe our kids or whatever, even like a spur they might become, and they might advance so much in a year or two, and we might take a lifetime to come to that level. So that's one thing I've realized is that, in like whatever you said, and I want to say is that if the focus is on us, then we're good. We should not worry about, we should pray, but you know what I mean? Like, not that they are behind or whatever. They can always go.
No, we can't force anyone, but it works. But it's because of Guru's kripa and Krishna's mercy and our Srila Prabhupada's kripa. I feel like that.
Very good, Mataji. Yeah,
all Mataji, they want our whole family should be in Krishna consciousness, right? Even
it helps. It definitely helps. Yeah, like I remember when I was very young, I was like, and my parents didn't even know what is ISKCON. Like they used to think I'm like brainwashed, and if I get married, then I'll forget about all of this and whatnot. They didn't even understand what the concept was. So then eventually, Krishna is even in their heart. So when my husband came to Krishna consciousness, even they changed and they became so favorable. They were like, oh, you're doing something nice. That's what they know. And even my mom chants now. My sister is chanting 16 rounds. So, so many people in our family have got initiated. So slowly they see, Krishna is in everyone's heart, I feel, and Krishna observes and Krishna changes that. And that's exactly what this verse is, this 18 verses saying. And why we are discussing this is, they remove, the removal of the past sinful reactions and guidance on the spiritual path is what Krishna gives us, right? A saintly person comes in our life, and he externally as a scripture, saint, or spiritual master, and internally from the heart, how Krishna guides us. So that's what we have. Thank you so much for sharing that, Satyabhama Mataji. Anyone else wants to share?
Hare Krishna Mataji, it was a very nice class. Thank you so much. I would like to, maybe if you allow, for 2 minutes, my daughter would like to recite some Bhagavad Gita slokas to take devotees' blessings.
Do we do that? Do we do that on the class? I'm not sure, because Simeshwar Prabhu probably knows, because it's off topic, right, Prabhu? Simeshwar Prabhu, are you okay with that? Or I don't know if he's on.
Mataji,
Okay,
if
Prabhu.
you finish all the question answers, and if there's time available, then Prabhu can, his daughter can
no
recite
question
it.
answers means I can. Otherwise, I can quit. No worries.
Yeah, but that's very sweet. We definitely want to hear her. But we were just, to stay on the topic, we want to just see if anyone has a question or realization related to.
Okay. Okay.
Anyone else
Hare
has any
Krishna.
realization?
Yeah, Hare Krishna Mataji, I have a question. Should I ask question or should I wait?
Sure, Prabhu. Before just the question, anyone has any realization how, Krishna has removed your obstacles or helped you, or, like Krishna always says, right? I give you what you lack in spiritual life. Has Krishna ever, anything? It would be very inspiring to us if someone can share it.
Mataji.
Hare Krishna,
She's having
Mataji.
a class. We are quitting. So thank you so much. She's having class. We'll try some other time. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Anjana here.
We can hear you, Mataji. You can go ahead.
Yes, Mataji. Just about the realization, like I have small thing to say. Like I was doing from years, like some puja, like part of devotion. But after coming in touch with this association, I feel more complete. I realized something was missing even after doing for years before that. But now I feel more complete. And I started with Bhagavad Gita classes, and I started with Srimad Bhagavatam classes, and now this Isopanishad classes. In the beginning, I was able to like realize the difference, but now everything feels same to me. And more fulfilling is going to the temple, and just being in the temple is like giving the feeling of completeness. So there is some magic behind
Thank you so much, Mataji, for sharing that. So, we all are diseased here in the material world, right? We all have disease. So a temple is a hospital, right? A doctor's office. So you go to a doctor's office to get cured. And if you can see the difference, right? So I'm recovering from my accident, and I went to physical therapy. I'm going to Cairo, and then I can see the difference, right? Like, oh, it is improving. Then you don't need to change the doctor. Then you know that you're at the right place. Oh, I went for physical therapy, didn't help me so much, but I went to chiropractor, it helped me. So you yourself will know where you're getting cured. And by getting cured means you're developing that love towards God. You're developing that, satisfaction and that completeness that you're saying, Mataji. So looks like you're in a right hospital right now. That's good. Good for you.
Thank you, Mataji. And hope you are not hurt like badly from this accident. Hope you feel better soon.
Thank you, Mataji. I'm recovering much. Krishna's mercy. Yeah, Krishna's mercy.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Hare Pol.
Anyone else would like to share before we go for questions? Okay. I don't know how long we go.
Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, what time do we end for the questions? Just what time does this class end, Prabhu?
Supposed to end at 8, Mataji, but it goes even up to 9 o'clock India time.
It's the ICNG time. So, okay, Prabhuji, good. Thank you for sharing that with us. Prabhu, go ahead, your realization or question?
It's actually not Krishna removing obstacles, but Krishna putting obstacles in my way. And that also, over a period of time, in my personal and professional life, I've had stratospheric successes and epic failures. And sometimes in Hindi, there's a saying called Sade Sati. Like one after the other, you have a string of what they say bad luck or reversals which come in your life. And sometimes it may bewilder a person. And then if someone is in Krishna consciousness, the doubts start creeping in because we are all matlabi. That, oh, I've been doing so much. Why is this happening to me? You know, all these things which happen. And when a string of reversals come, then it becomes really very disturbing. However, being in the company of devotees and somehow or the other doing sadhana improperly, doing seva, the doubts get changed to being thankful and grateful. Because instead of seeing कि इतना मुसीबत है मेरे पे, it is like, okay, you know, he has a better plan. It shows me my level of hypocrisy. If I say that I'm trying to be a devotee of Krishna, I don't have enough faith and trust on Krishna that he knows what is best for me. So that's how I think when someone comes into Krishna consciousness, as long as he or she stays the path, even if we stumble, even if we fall, even if we have reversals or whatever, or even if we have great successful, as long as you are on the path, you know, the realizations come automatically. Hare Krishna.
Very well said, Prabhuji. And that is so important, right? Like when you come to Krishna consciousness, we're not saying that problems are not going to come, right? Everything is going to be happy. Everything is going to be working out for you. You know, like sometimes we see there are a few devotees, so many challenges are coming. Like even in my scenario, and I can use this example of accident, and there are so many more. There have been reverses, there have been problems. When you said, right, why me? We should always ask why me only when we are something good happens to you. We should never say why me when did I press something? Can you guys still hear me? Everyone can hear me?
Yes, Mataji, we can hear you.
Oh, sorry.
Clearly.
For some reason,
Yes,
everything blanked.
Mataji.
So we should only say why me when there is something good happens to us. You know, we should have, why did I get such a good job? Or why did I get something so nice? That's when we ask. When something bad happens to us, we take that as a mercy. And I know it's very difficult, right? Like I'm saying COVID happened to people or my car accident happened. So I'm not saying be grateful for the accident, but I can be grateful in that situation for so many different things. Like, you know, when that happened to me, none of my family members were there. My kids were not in the car. My child was not in the car seat, or my other daughters were not in the car, because if they were behind, they would have got hit so much. Or if my husband was there, he was on the passenger seat and the accident happened on the passenger seat. You know, my car was gone, but I have to be grateful that that is something I can replace. But like, for example, I'll tell you really one, maybe Krishna made this happen so I could share this with you. So I was dropping off my daughter for daycare this morning, and she said, Mom, her XYZ friend has not been coming for a few days, and we should arrange a play date. And I said, okay, but I don't know what happened. So when I was going, I saw the mom coming with the daughter, and the mom was so like down and so in such a bad state. And I said, what happened? And she said, oh no, there was such stress going on at family, and you know, that's why we were not sending her to school. And I said, what happened? And she said, oh, my sister died. She was 44 years old, and she had a car accident, and she died on Saturday. And I was just thinking, like you know, that person is died in a car accident. And that person, she was saying how she has 2 children and how she wants to support them, and she can go because of a visa issue and whatnot. And she was like in such a bad state, but that person didn't even survive, right? I survived the accident, and you know, okay, I have some injury, whatever, but that is because of my bad karma. It's not that Krishna has done this. My karma is so bad, I would have been dead, but Krishna saved me. He did not have any impact on my family. I know I lost some money in the car, you know, the depreciated value I got, but it's okay. It's okay. That is something I can replace. You know, I can, if I've got some injury on my body, I can recover that. So in any adversities, we have to think about what things are we are grateful for. And there always will be something. There always will be something, like it could be even at a state that we don't have anything, we only have Krishna, and we develop such strong relationship with Krishna, such strong faith with Krishna. And believe me, like it's nobody in the world who doesn't have problems. Everybody has problems. And it is how you write your story. Some people will only talk about bad, this happened, that happened. And few people will talk about how from that situation, how they survived and how they came up. So how you write your story and Krishna is not going to do anything bad to you, right? He's your parent. Like, for example, sometimes my daughter, we give her timeout, or we say, no, you have to do this or whatever. We're doing that for the good of the person. Right now, you're grown up, you have to put your own shoes on. If we don't teach them, or if we are not strict to them or give that time out or whatever, that person will not improve. So if we try to be always on the top of our game and keep doing the right thing, and if something is we're not getting or whatever happens in our life, if we keep on saying this is mercy of Krishna, then we are successful. Then, Krishna is only there to help us. And if there are some other problems for our children, grown up children, we don't cause them problems, right? We only go and jump and save them. So that's what Krishna is doing. Krishna is coming and saving us. So any adversities in our life, we should always look at them as Krishna's mercy to intensify our relationship with him. And I know it's easier said than done. To your point, Namritananda Prabhu, sometimes even I feel like, kyun aise hona tha? Like, oh, why this time? Why not, and all of those things come to our mind, but we should just stay so strong. Wo lambe race ka ghoda, we stay in the moment, we stay put, because what are we going to do then? We are in this boat of Prabhupada, of ISKCON. Do we jump off the boat? It's more dangerous out there, right? We stay here, we withstand the storm and we go ahead, looking at it as a mercy of Krishna. That's what I follow. Hopefully, I remember it in my crisis also, what I'm saying right now. So hope that is okay, Amritananda Prabhu.
Excellent, Mataji. Thanks.
Anyone else has any questions?
Hare Krishna, Mataji, always Shubha. Mataji, you are not inclined to say this, but you told your car accident, so I want to correlate to the Bhagavad Gita shloka 2.65. All material miseries, Adhyatmik, Adi Vaid, Adi Daivi, Adi Bhautik, right? So for you, bodily misery, he is supposed to save, and he did. I would say that is Bhagavad Gita would say, right? So that has happened. So now my real question is, now if I have to read Upanishad, right? Now, if I say Gita Upanishad, Gita is spoken by Lord Krishna. Yes, I have to read. I have to understand. I have to understand each and every shloka. I have to understand each and every word, right? So that gives me inspiration, right? But now there are 108 Upanishad. Now this comes to Gita Upanishad. Why I have to get so attached to this Upanishad? Did Lord Krishna give this Upanishad? Did Lord Krishna tell this? You have to read this, right? So my question is, what is Vedas? What is Upanishad? What is Vedanta Sutra? And what is, all these things? I just want to try to understand. See, now we studied in this mantra also, right? Vedic scripture, Vedic, always Vedas comes, right? Vedas, Upanishad, Vedanta Sutra, right? I just want to understand, broader understanding of this matter.
I'm going to look to, Sameshwar Prabhu or Amritananda Prabhu, somebody to answer. But the way I look at it, Prabhu, is it's such a vast ocean. Like I said, I'm here from my teenage, but it's so much, even just Bhagavatam, completing Bhagavatam I've not done. So my focus really is Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam. If I can get through that, I get a clear understanding. And not just, there is a difference between knowledge and information, right? Like, are you just going to go and collect information and have so much information, or you're actually going to have some realized knowledge from it? Those are the two different things. So my approach has been is to, yes, knowledge, we listen to lectures and everything, but actually to realize that knowledge. And just understanding Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam for my scope of life is enough. With as a working mom, doing everything and practicing spirituality, chanting 16 rounds, doing your Gayatri, doing so many things. I think for me, that's the scope that I'm in, but I haven't pursued studying other scriptures, but maybe anyone else on the call can help us understand, how we can help out here for Bimal Prabhu.
Yeah. Krishna Mataji. Okay, go ahead, Sameshwar Prabhu. I thought you were busy on your altar.
No. Okay, you can go ahead. No problem. I'll add something.
This whole subject matter is endless, and that's why the acharyas. So the safest and the best way and the complete way is whatever books Prabhupada has given. That's more than sufficient. In fact, Prabhupada had given his disciples the instruction, there's no need for you to read anything else. No need to read anything else. So, whether it's Vedanta Sutra, whether it is, the Rig Veda, it's humongous. And the fact of the matter is, anyone who's doing the study seriously will come to the conclusion that in knowing much, there's still not a lot I know. There's so much more. And that's the gift Prabhupada has given, the acharyas have given. They have condensed everything, and the the essence is what they've given, and that is sufficient to deliver or elevate our consciousness. So read Prabhupada's books. If you'd like, start with the small books, get to Bhagavad Gita, finish Bhagavad Gita, get to Bhagavatam, finish Bhagavatam, get to Chaitanya Charitamrita gradually. So that's my understanding of this. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu. I was going to add to what Amritananda Prabhu said. It's, there's always that picture of Krishna milking the cow, right? And all of the Shastras are there. And the milk that is produced is there is Bhagavad Gita. So if you really understand that one scripture very well, it's as good as understanding all of the Vedas and everything. Is my understanding as well. Simeshwar Prabhu, anything you want to add?
Yeah, yes. Wonderful answers. Yes, exactly. Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita, these are all Srila Prabhupada recommended. But answer to your question, what is Vedas and why, in case I need to read what inspires me, what motivates me is a good question. So answer to that question, yes, Vedas, always remember that it's the breath of the Lord. It's the breath or the words or Vani, everything is same if it comes from Krishna. You know that in the first chapter, Krishna says that 120 million years ago, this transcendental knowledge imparted to the sun god Vivaswan. And the same Supreme Lord imparted this knowledge to Brahmadev. The same Supreme Lord imparted this knowledge to Kumaras. Sangarshanas. Sangarshanas imparted this knowledge to the Kumaras. Same knowledge. Vedic knowledge is same. It's but in a different structure. Like Vedas, there are 4 Vedas. The essence of the Veda, what is the essence of the Vedas? Krishna says that Vedishya sarvamahameva vedya. So we should, and that's what is same spirit that Srila Prabhupada also translated this Isopanishad so that we can go more deeper understanding of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu visited Tiruvata and excavated this Brahma Samhita. Why Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took that efforts to, it was a manuscript, and then copy that manuscript. It was a bundle of like a lot of manuscript and put on a head and brought back to Mayapur because of it glorifies the Supreme Lord. It is the exact the Vedic knowledge and which gives that the Krishna Prema, the essence of Krishna to everyone. So like that, Srila Prabhupada took this Isopanishads in order to impart this so that we can understand more and more about that Supreme Personality of Godhead. So why Vedas? Because of it's, again, the Vedas also comes from the mouth, the breath of the Supreme Lord. And then Isopanishad, Srila Prabhupada also translated, and another motivation to read Isopanishad is that because of Srila Prabhupada translated. So Srila Prabhupada took these efforts, and we should read very sincerely because of when spiritual master gives something, or Srila Prabhupada gives something, there is some meaning for it. Like we go to the medical store and we get some generic medicine. But if you have some serious problems we have, we go to see a very primary care physician. The primary care physician check ourselves and check us and then prescribe a specific medicine, not the generic medicine or what we go to the medical store. So like that, Srila Prabhupada gives all this for a specific purpose so that we all can understand. So this is like a primary care physician or a very expert doctor gives us. So we should read. So it's not that just only, yes, if you are reading, we should read Srila Prabhupada's books. Not only just Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam. Srila Prabhupada put that much efforts every night and almost how many books we should read, all those books. That doesn't mean that, okay, we should just ignore all those, only just these three books read. These three books is actually our life and soul. That means we should ultimately read and by heart each and every verse. That doesn't mean that we should not read other books. We should read other books of Srila Prabhupada because of Srila Prabhupada had a specific purpose to read it. And the motivation is, yes, exactly because of Srila Prabhupada, recommended Srila Prabhupada, put that efforts and so much energy, so much effort Srila Prabhupada took that. So we have to, one motivation is that, again, is also the words of Krishna. It's not that Bhagavad Gita is the only words of Krishna. No. Vedas are the words of Krishna. And Srila Vyasadeva is literary incarnation of Krishna. So where is the difference? So always we should understand this and then take that spirit. We should read all this so that we can go more and more beyond. And then we can understand more. And whatever Srila Prabhupada write in the Purport, we should read very, very deeply. So this way we can go more into all the subject matter. We can develop.
Krishna Prabhu.
Yes.
But didn't Prabhupada specifically give the instruction there's no need to read anything else, just my literature?
Yes,
Don't go here and there. And there were special people who were assigned that, okay, you can go and read something, but Prabhupada gave them specific instruction. But to everyone else, he said, just read what I have written. And that would more than suffice for you.
Yeah. Srila Prabhupada also mentioned that, yes, everybody should read my books. It's not that Srila Prabhupada said, not read, study my books.
Study, correct.
Study my books. Not Srila Prabhupada said, read my books, study my books, not correct. That. So Srila Prabhupada gives this instruction many times according to the time, place, and circumstances. That's there is a word called Vaishnava hermeneutics. Hermeneutics means to understand Prabhupada properly.
Prabhu, right. But there is something which is specific and there's something which is implied, no, in the instruction. So here there was specific instructions. So I'm trying to understand that now. If someone wants to go and read, Varaha Purana, is it necessary and is it even
Varaha Purana, Srila Prabhupada didn't translate.
Yeah, so that's what he said. Like this, I'm giving an example. There are so many scriptures. Yeah. To Bimal Prabhu's point, there are 108 Upanishads, but Prabhupada selected Shri Isopanishad.
Yes.
And then he gave, correct, and he gave the instruction that there's no need for you to go and read anything else.
Yes, apart from
just what he has given.
Yeah, exactly. That's so, apart from Srila Prabhupada's
given, what I think we can call it a wrap by saying, Bimal Prabhu, I think if you study Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam and then revisit this question, I guess by that time you'll have some realization. And do you have to go and study other?
Hare Krishna Mataji, I am already studying Bhagavatam for past 4.5 years. Mercy of Govardhan Prabhuji and the Jagdisham Prabhuji. And then I joined Bhagavad Gita. Now I joined Bhakti Shastri course also. In Bhakti Shastri course, I asked this question: why we should only read Bhagavad Gita as it is? Because I'm going for Bhagavad Gita book distribution. They're saying, oh, Hamakas Bhagavad Gita already had. Why should I take your Bhagavad Gita as it is? So I posted this question to Mataji there in Bhakti Shastri. She told her, yes, they are right. They can read any other Bhagavad Gita. But was Sampradaya se aana. See, it is not Gaudiya, only just Gaudiya Brahma Sampradaya, right? There are other Sampradayas also. If that Bhagavad Gita is given by other Sampradayas also, that is also followed disciplic succession. Yes, they can read that Bhagavad Gita also, right? So I am opening my purview or, vision, what we have to educate others, right? So that was my question got answered. Okay, I have to, but then I asked Mataji, doesn't the Bhagavad Gita as it is encompasses all other sampradayas? Then Mataji told, yes, you're right. It is there. That is the reason Srila Prabhupada wrote as it is. Yeah, because, Srila Prabhupada has taken from, I'm not able to recollect, some other sampradaya also is copied Bhagavad Gita content and he has put here. So Mataji is saying, see, he's copied from others also, right? From other sampradayas also. So that is the reason we have to always say that if it is coming, your Bhagavad Gita you're following is coming from Sampradaya, yes, you can read that as well. That's where you need to educate them.
Yeah, Prabhuji, yeah. So that's a good
You know,
viewpoint.
my take is this again, like, just for an example, is we have, I mean, there are so many wonderful books Srila Prabhupada, translated. There are 91 volumes of books, right? Especially Chaitanya Charitamrita, Srimad Bhagavatam, 18 volumes, 12 cantos. It takes so many years to read that. Chaitanya Charitamrita, it also takes years to read that. Bhagavad Gita, GC Journey to Other Planets, Sites of Self-Realization, GC Journey of Self-Discovery, and this various other books like Beyond Birth and Death, so many other books. So we should first thing that should, yes, Sampradaya is very important. Like, I was meditating on this on that. See, like Srila Prabhupada is our family, right? Just for an example, if something comes into our family, Srila Prabhupada is our grandfather. Spiritual master is our father. We are all one family. So which one we give more importance? Is something in the family or something outside of the family? So we always give the importance to the family. That means we are connected, so that we get more connected to the family. So family is the first. So that's anything comes, Sampradaya, that's our disciplic succession. Family, which comes to us, that's first, foremost. And especially we all realize that the importance, and nothing that out there, we can compare with the Srila Prabhupada's, the realization and the devotional, the purity. We cannot even compare with anything else. So first thing is actually the spiritual master, most important, more important. Srila Prabhupada, most important, more important. So we have to by heart and understand properly what they said, then others. It's very, very important.
Yeah, very good point, Sameshwar Prabhu.
Yeah, Prabhuji, I don't disagree with that. See, what
Prabhu,
my contention is.
Bimal Prabhu, one second. I just want to see if others have questions too. Is that okay, Prabhu?
Yeah,
of course,
Yeah. Any other questions do we have? I know it's getting too super late. It's 8:30. Any other questions we have before we end? Okay, so looks like we're good, Prabhu. Should we call it a wrap, Prabhu?
I think Ramakrishna Prabhu was saying something. I was not sure. Was he still there?
I think he had to drop because his daughter had a class or something.
Or something like that.
Yeah.
Okay, I think the devotees, we're going to conclude the Isopanishad by this week. So tomorrow, the part 2 section of it, and summarize the 18th verse. And then we'll also summarize the entire Isopanishad, right? So what we can take away from these classes and the entire Isopanishad. So this is what is that okay, if somebody says, what is Isopanishad? We should be able to answer what is Isopanishad. So this is your homework. Everybody please read start to end the Isopanishad. And then we'll have some discussions, and you have any questions, and you can also share your realization on this Friday about this Isopanishad and your deep realization or understanding, and you want to share with that, please go and take up some time every day or something. Read each mantra or something like that, or a few mantras, or try to understand if you have some doubts or some questions. So, I mean, in the perspective of Srila Prabhupada, that's why property is so important. In the what Srila Prabhupada tried to convey to us, right? That's what is every time we go with Srila Prabhupada's purport, so that we can understand. So that's because of that's coming from pure devotee. the realization that Srila Prabhupada put in the purport is coming from a pure devotee. And that realization, that purport gives us more deep understanding than any of our mental speculation. This is so important. Read those, and then, if you have any questions or not, put some, as always says, we should not read, we should study all this deep study. Then it should go, that's where our real knowledge comes. Read just come into the mind, goes. You have to put a note, write down, deep study, and then we'll have more realization and understanding. So then please try this one by Friday, if at least some of the questions to be answered. And then we will be starting Nectar of Instruction next Monday. So the Nectar of Instruction is very deep. It's a what is called as a cream of all transcendental knowledge. Like Shashtakam, 8 verses is put, all the essence of Vedas put into this 8 verses. Similarly, the instructions, how we can develop this love for Krishna, how we can progress in devotional platform, devotional path. Then, that's the instruction that we have to follow A to Z. That how we can really situate in spiritual platform. These are the instructions Srila Rupa Goswami put together. Srila Prabhupada took the time to translate, so that for us, that devotees, those who are aspiring for this devotion. So that'll be starting on next Monday, and please join and bring your families and friends and anybody you like. So these are free of cost. Otherwise, if you go and join some institute or something like that, $300, $400, charge for you. This is absolutely free, and we go in deep subject matter of all these topics. So don't miss. And and also don't forget this Pitra Paksha is going on. This 14th is the last day, and that last day is the important day. If you missed anything, any kind of shraddha, any kind of remembrance of your forefathers, read Srimad Bhagavatam, and also if you know how to do the tarpan, do that, or offer some rice for fathers on the name of Mahaprasada, offer to it. And this Pitra Paksha is started on the Purnima and then Amavasya. The reason for that is we are all compassionate. Devotees are compassionate to each and every living entity, anyway or other. So they all can become devotees of Krishna if we do that. Okay. So please pray for them. Please read Srimad Bhagavatam, chant for them, and do some, if you can, for them. Yes, the best thing is actually chant the holy name and pray to the Supreme that make all of them very wonderful devotees and liberate them wherever they are. So thank you so much. Anything else?
Prabhu, in Mandir also we are having some sponsorship for Pitru Paksh, no?
Yes, there are. Rajabhog is the one of the best on the names of forefathers. We can offer Rajbhog to the Supreme Lord, and also we'll be having a yajna on this Saturday. If anybody,
what time, Prabhu?
8 o'clock.
Same. Oh, okay. Okay.
8 o'clock, and anybody would like to offer an oblations on the name of and Rajbhog or yajna and all these ways.
One question I have. So you can only do it if you are the eldest in the family, right? Like if you have your parents or something, then I think they have to do it.
It's a misunderstanding. This is the link. This is the way it goes. Yes, it goes first to the elder son. If the elder son is not there, yes, younger son can do it.
But if you have parents, I'm asking. If you have parents, then your parents
still alive. So yeah,
alive.
Your parents do that. Yes.
Yeah, so you don't do it, then your parents do it. Yeah.
But your father is not there, then your elder son is considered as and the position of the father.
Yeah, whoever is the oldest in the family. Yeah.
In the lineage of it. Then it goes like if the parents are not there, if there are no sons, then daughter can do it. This is the priorities of. And if the daughter is not there, And if the eldest son has son is still alive, they can do it. Or the brother can do it. I mean, even if nobody is there, even son-in-law can do it. So that's the way it goes.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Anjana here. Prabhuji, if suppose daughters are like elder and the brothers are younger, then who is preferred to do? The younger brothers or
younger brother is.
Younger brothers. And Prabhuji, this Saturday also the eclipse is there. So is it affecting
Eclipse is in
temple
the
hours?
afternoon. Eclipse is in the afternoon. It's a partial eclipse, and I will tell you the timing for the eclipse. I put it there. Yeah, it starts at 12:08 p.m. afternoon, and the maximum eclipse is 1:21, and the eclipse end is 2:30. So yes.
Is it going to affect temple hours, or we can still continue with the services, or like
No.
you already mentioned is there, and
that is in the morning. Yajna is in the morning. So even if anything is affecting only on this time. But that time, especially when we worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead, right? Krishna.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, there are some some temples are for many temples, Navagriha Puja will be stopped. And many times request that the temple will be closed because of people. We don't want to encourage people to be out that time, right? So that they won't come.
Yes.
The one thing. Second thing is actually Navagriha Pujas will be stopped, but the worship of Krishna will be continued inside the temple. Okay.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Okay. Anything else? Right, let's
continue. For engaging in service, and
thank you.
This was
Wonderful,
very nice.
Wonderful class. Thank you so much. Always very nice. You are very sincerely speaking from your heart. Always touches me also very nicely. Thank you so much.
Because you engaged in this service, I was just talking to Prabhuji on the call, and he was like, "You have to give this class." I studied, and I want to thank you for engaging me in service, Prabhuji.
Thanks, Srila Prabhupada. We are all serving Srila Prabhupada, and Srila Prabhupada is right there. It's all coming from Srila Prabhupada, not me. Because of Srila Prabhupada is right there, and every moment, and there is another time I will explain that all these experiences. Okay, thank you so much. Anything else? Anybody else? Okay, thank you so much, dear devotees. Thank you, Gokulpriya Mataji, for a wonderful class. Let's pray together. Vancha kalpatarupasya prabhasin Pudidana Pavanebhyo
Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha.
Vaishnav Vrinda ki jai. Jai Isopanishad ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Ananda Giri Vaishnav Vrinda ki jai. Gaurav Premanande Hari Hari.
Hari Hari Bo.
Thank you so much,
Hare
Gokul.
Krishna.
Thank you so
Thank you,
much.
Mataji.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Thank
Hare Krishna.